Welcome back to America Right Now. I'm Tom Basile. Keeping our kids safe online. It is one of the biggest challenges kids and parents have today. More and more kids with internet access are falling prey to online sex trafficking, and they don't even have to be lured outside of their homes to do it. The vast majority of sexual advances toward children are happening on social media, gaming, or direct messaging. And the average age of these victims is just 12 years old. All of this while companies like TikTok continue to allow harmful content on their platforms that finds their way to kids, including sexual content, vaping, and messages about suicide and more. So what can be done to keep your kids safe? Joining us now is the Director of Programming and Communications for the Foundation United, Vanessa Morris, and also anti-trafficking expert and CEO of the Foundation United and author of Groomed, Overcoming the Messages That Shaped Our Past and Limit Our Future, Elizabeth Good. Both of you, welcome. So incredibly important, this topic. And of course, I have my special guest with me as well, Jeanette Hoffman. Elizabeth, I want to start with you. Obviously, the numbers don't even to begin to express how horrifying this phenomenon is. Walk us through the threat and the contributing factors.
Well, I think there's a couple of new ways that parents need to understand and look at what's happening online. There's two paths of grooming that are happening for our children. We are having boys and girls lured into a world of pornography by 5, 6, 7 years old. That is actually research showing us changes their neural pathways. So we're getting kids by 7, 8 years old addicted to sexual images that are actually abusive, and the interactions that they're watching, it's rewiring their brains. So our little boys are being desensitized to being groomed into what's going to lead to the pathways. Everybody that we see that actually is a buyer in trafficking says, I don't know how I got here. It started, I was just looking at porn and I needed more and more.
Right.
And little girls are getting deadened to the fact that this is abuse, and they're twisting it and they're not knowing what they're settling for. So they are so vulnerable and so susceptible. And online, the FBI says the most dangerous place for your child to be right now is in their bedroom alone with a smart device.
With a smartphone.
Because they are stalking and looking for ways to interact with your child.
Absolutely. Vanessa, I'm a father of 3, like most parents. Very concerned about what my kids are doing when they're online. We talk about it, my wife and I, all the time. What are some of the red flags that parents should be looking for that would indicate that a child is communicating with a trafficker or is being exploited by pedophiles?
Absolutely. So I'm also a mother and I have young children at home, and we want to be very aware and very vigilant about these things. Some of the red flags that we could see are the fact that our child has a device on a regular basis and that they have access to this device alone. They're going to be isolated. They're going to be keeping secrets. You might start to see communication or defense about their communication with this person, or trying to hide the communication. Really what we're seeing is that 89% of this communication with predators, and there are 500,000 of them online every day, that it's happening on gaming platforms, social media, chat rooms. That's where these predators are gaining access. So when our kids are on these platforms, that's when we have to have these conversations about what's really out there and how to protect them.
Elizabeth, these apps, as you mentioned, they're essentially rewriting the brain to crave certain content. It is like an addiction. Tell us a little bit more about how the very nature of these applications can lead to self-harm.
Well, what's happening is they're exposing children to things long before their time. They're being exposed to things that what we are finding with research is that their bodies are actually excreting hormones that are meant for puberty, but they're happening at 8 or 9 years old. So everything is out of order, and things that are the stimulus and the things they're being exposed to are actually bonding them to these images and bonding them to the abusive images and normalizing it and deadening it at such a young age. That's why you're seeing Viagra marketed to 20-year-olds, because we are systemically undoing every part of how a child and a person is wired, and they are systemically coming after them to have them programmed basically to follow these pathways and normalize it.
And they end up having relationships with this rather than interpersonal relationships. Jeanette, I have 3 kids, you have 4. We're concerned about this in my house. How have you handled it?
Well, having conversations is so important, Tom, and letting your kids know people contacting you, strangers, it's not appropriate to talk to them. In fact, there are people out there that are posing as other kids when they're grown adults. In fact, this just happened in South Carolina, a tragedy. A South Carolina lawmaker's son was sextorted. That's a new crime, sextortion, where someone will ask you to send them a picture of yourself nude. They were posing as a girl. And in fact, it wasn't, it was a man. They sextorted this kid, demanded money not to release the nude photo. The kid didn't have any money. He sent them $25. They said it wasn't enough. And sadly, the young child killed himself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really horrifying as a parent, but you have to have these conversations with your children. And the apps have to be age appropriate. I'm sorry, TikTok is not appropriate for children.
No, TikTok should be banned entirely. Vanessa, I've got less than a minute left, but are there apps that parents can use to monitor content that their kids are seeing, or apps that parents really shouldn't allow their kids on? We were just talking about TikTok, because they also reveal their location, or because they've just been proven to be caustic.
I would say that any smart device is proven to be harmful. And if you want your child to have access to the predation that is out there online, then if they have a smartphone, that is all that it takes. However, there are some practical tools that you can put in to safeguard your children. We have Paxa for Parents has great tools, Canopy, BART. These are 3 great resources to safeguard your child. But I would say the number one thing that you can do is exactly what Jeanette said, and that is have open, ongoing conversations about what safeties are. Of course, we can put these practical controls into place, but the communication and helping your child know how to come to you if they feel unsafe or confused is the most vital part in protecting them.
All right. All right. I really appreciate it. Fantastic information from all of you. Thank you so much. Vanessa Morris, Elizabeth Fisher, the Foundation United. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you.